What's going on, Scorpio? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic month so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Scorpio, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Because you want to know why? Because it's Celestial News Weekly. I almost felt like one of those. I felt like Team Rocket. But sidebar, Scorpio. I had this thing where I'm officially naming this instead of the planetary spread. This is a Celestial News Monthly now. When I first started this channel, I had a little segment that I was doing for all the things that was Celestial News Weekly, and that didn't quite pan out how I wanted it to. But now that this is working out, everything is golden, so I'm super pumped. But with this spread, whenever the sun enters a new sign, we're going to talk about where all the luminaries and planets are at, and then see how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the shenanigans with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. I'm not sure why I gave you a thumbs up there, just for extra confidence. We got this, Scorpio. You want to know why? Because your space has been cleansed. Gems. Feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Scorpio. So, Scorpio, I have some oracle cards laid out here. These are each of the zodiac signs that each of the planets that everybody's in. I'm going to pull an oracle card for each of them, and then we'll get some tarot to get some details on the mix. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case you all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Scorpio. But before we get into your oracle, let's talk about this little party. It's more like a get-together that's happening with Gemini for their birthday. They're only inviting their close friends, I guess. But you have the sun entering Gemini, and then Mercury will enter Gemini a little bit later towards the beginning of June. But the sun enters Gemini on the 21st of May and will be there through the 21st of June. And this is a great energy, Scorpio. It inspires our curiosity and really opens our mind up to new perspective, because Gemini energy it's intelligent, it's witty, it's clever, they're a very adaptable sign, very they deal with like early learning, so their appetite for knowledge can be just voracious. I have a Gemini moon, and let me tell you what, mine is always cranking. But it's really a great idea for just coming up with new ideas. But it is also, too, just like because they're so witty, so clever, it's very fun and lighthearted energy, Scorpio. So get with others, laugh, have fun, go out and really just enjoy yourself with this energy. But also, then you got their ruler, Mercury, is going to be moving in there on the 11th of June and will be there through the 26th of June. And with this, hopefully you'll be feeling a little more clear-headed, more objective, and more mentally flexible, which is going to be perfect, with where all the energies are going. That flexibility is going to be key. But like I was saying, considering how overactive, sometimes Gemini energy can be, you might feel a little distracted, maybe even a little overloaded. I even notice I got to sometimes pause when I'm doing some studying, but if you notice that you got like a lot of ideas coming up, just producing, keep a notebook nearby. That's all I've been kind of telling people, just so you at least got this stuff documented, because who knows how the inspiration will come in. But let's see how we're going to work with this energy. Ooh, I like it, because you got the 5th card of Aries here, which is the slingshot card. And with this slingshot, there's a card of tension, strain, sudden, anxiety, pressure, launch, stressed, pull, set in motion, focus, begin, force, change, pulled in opposite directions, ready, aim, and fire. And with this card, we're going to talk about we'll talk about the tension and stuff in a minute, but I'm more so with this card thinking about how I was talking about with like the ideas and how your mind is just really kind of active during this time, just more so. really be thinking about, are there some things that you want to set in motion, some things that you want to begin, whether that be maybe we're thinking about going for a new job, or maybe we're thinking about starting a side hustle, a hobby, you know, things along those lines, maybe starting up your own business. But this is great energy to start thinking about putting some stuff in motion, you know, thinking about what it is that where do you want to set your focus right now, you know, and really enjoy the process, Scorpio, with this, you know, because when we get into thinking about these dreams, these goals and things, that can bring on a lot of anxiety, you know, a lot of pressure. You know, it's like, am I going to achieve this thing? You know, how am I going to achieve this thing? What resources do I need? And we just want to be careful of that too, you know, just with the mind, because our thoughts are very powerful, Scorpio. And with yours being such a sign that when you get focused on something, you focus with such an intensity, you really want to be mindful of where your head's getting into and what you're getting fixated on, just, you know, because you're a fixed sign. And we just want to be mindful of what energies that we're focusing on, and if it's not raising our vibration, let's change that trajectory a little bit. Let's shift our slingshot a little bit, because we don't want to be under this place of strain and things along those lines. Because we stay operating in that space for too long. It's like you know how when you have like a rubber band. I love when this card comes out for this analogy. It's like when you have a rubber band, if you keep it just pulled like that all the time, when it eventually goes back, it's lost some of its elasticity, and it's lost that snap, that tension. So make sure this also too, just think with that, you know, if we have been under a lot of pressure, stress and things like that, balancing out making sure we're carving in times for self-care, you know, because that's going to be really important, especially with how the energies are setting up, and really kind of with how these signs may be aspecting some of your Scorpio placements, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But let's see, let's get some tarot on this and see, or get some more details on this. Oh, interesting. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Look at you, abundant. All right, Scorpio, let's see what we got here. I dig it. Okay, so you got the Six of Swords in reverse here, but then that's all right, because we got the Ace of Swords and then we got the Page of Cups, and that's dope. Because with the Six of Swords, with it being in reverse, are there things that are causing you strain, that are lowering your vibration, that are just stressing you out? And I don't mean like it's one thing if we're just like having like a busy season, maybe at our job or maybe with whatever we're doing, that's one thing. But if you're feeling stressed out, like at work, maybe at home, maybe just in life, let's get eyes on that with this Six of Swords and see what it is that's got you, or how we can move past this, whatever that is that's got you under that kind of like mental anguish. Because here's the thing, when we stay in that place like that, it affects how your ideas, affects how you manifest, and it just gets you frazzled. It's because the Ace of Swords, this is a double-edged sword, and if we get in our heads with it, if we're operating from a place of anxiety and stress, it's, you know, the sword is erratic. You know, you might hit your mark, but you might hurt yourself in the meantime. And I hope that analogy is making sense. But when we get some clarity on whatever it is that's bringing this tension and find some ways to assuage that, to alleviate it, it helps us to move past, it helps us to move forward and just to get more momentum on the things that we're working on, that we're trying to set in motion. But with the Page of Cups popping up here, we're going to need to, when we do get eyes on this thing, you know, this, whatever this tension is, we're going to need to be creative and think about what ways we can get out of this, you know, whether this be maybe making more time for some hobbies, you know, maybe doing some self-care, maybe going for like a massage, or going to, or even just like getting out in nature, you know, maybe we're getting amongst the flowers, and maybe we're painting some flowers. Go take some photography. You know, just anything that just gets yourself in a zen place, get you in that calm place. Because when we're here, when we're in that calm state, then the ideas start flowing. Then we can get in this place. Okay, I've been dealing with this thing as of late. How can I tackle this? Because even if this is not like let's say this is just like your regular amount of stress. Let's say, like this is not like an over thing, maybe you've just been thinking about these ideas and it's just like, what's next? How does this look? And that might be proven some, or might be causing some anxiety. Then really, what better way to, sometimes when we stress on a situation too long, it kind of, the waters get kind of murky, it really kind of, if we try to force it, it just gets in this weird place. But when we take a step back, maybe go listen to some music, maybe do some dishes, maybe even sometimes even just hopping in the shower, just something to alleviate, or taking a bath, something to alleviate that stress for a second, to get you out of your head. And I find when we remove ourselves from that energy, sometimes the solutions to how we can alleviate that really comes to us. So I hope that's making sense, Scorpio. But don't stay under this place of, or try not to stay under this place of strain and stress and anxiety. We want to try to find, we want to use that, whatever that feeling is, and find it a way to, instead of just like keeping us frazzled, how can we channel that to be productive, to keep that energy going, okay? Okay, oh, no more? Okay. Straightforward there, Scorpio. Dope, I'm with it. Now, let's talk about, let me get some tea and then let's talk about Cancerian energy. Because this is going to be a dope one for you there, Scorpio. Because you have Venus entered Cancer, and I've been loving it. Venus entered Cancer on the 7th of May and will be there through the 5th of June. And with Venus in Cancer, Venus in Cancer, that's a special connection. The Moon and Venus are like besties. They go way back. They're both feminine energies. The Moon is exalted in Taurus. They really do. They do. It's great. But this motivates us to find security in our relationships. And I really feel like even a little bit broader, find security in areas that are causing us tension, strain, anxiety, things, find alleviating that, nurturing yourself, taking care of that. Because listen, with this Aries energy, it's like, sure, we want to get things done. We want to keep it moving. We want to, we got that fire, but we just don't want it to get to where our, to a place where we're putting ourselves at detriment, Scorpio. But this also, Venus in Cancer, what great way, another way maybe to alleviate some stress, is great for doing some like stuff around the house, whether that be maybe touching up the garden, maybe go cleaning up your space, or do we want to rearrange some things? Is there a room that needs a new coat of paint? Do we want to, I don't know, do some stuff to clean the gutters? I don't know, do a new roof? Anything along those lines, any kind of DIY stuff. I mean, let's go for it, because that's another thing too. Sometimes when we adjust the space, kind of liven things up a little bit, freshen things up, then that can help provide a new perspective to how to handle any challenges or anything if feel like we're being pulled in opposite directions and whatnots. But also, if we're in like real estate or anything, if we're thinking about buying a house, or maybe you happen to work in real estate, this could be a great time for that as well, because Cancer has to deal with the home, the home space. So, and Venus dealing with, abundance and riches and things. Something to think about with that energy. But let's, and then why this is going to be dope energy for you there, Scorpio, because depending on where you have Scorpio placements, Venus is going to be forming a trine with your sign. And trines are like the most fortunate of your like aspects. So when you're looking up your birth chart, it's all you need is your date of birth, place of birth, time of birth. And when you find all that stuff, go check out the aspects. I also have a link for some apps that I like using down and in the description box as well for you if you want to check that out. But trines are the most fortunate aspect. They're harmonious. They provide luck, opportunities, creative flow. But it's one of those things we have to see this creative flow. So it's like we gotta jump on this stuff. So if you notice that someone's presenting you maybe some opportunities, maybe you've been feeling stressed about, like maybe you might be feeling stressed about not having a game plan. Maybe we're not sure what's next, and this is why we pay attention to these opportunities that may come up. Maybe someone might offer you an idea for something. Maybe you might hear something on the radio, or we might read something on internet or newspaper or something. So be paying attention to this energy over this next month-ish or so. This can be a great time for you, Scorpio. But let's get an oracle on this. Love it, Scorpio. We're efficient. Ooh, and we may be in love, Scorpio. I see you. You got the first card of Pisces here, which is the Roses card. And this is a card of love, romance, affection, appreciation, devotion, fond, delighted, high emotional IQ, gifts, friendship, infatuated, enchanted, passion, fidelity, tender, yearning, and attached. And you know, Scorpio, because I don't think I got too much in that, Cancerian energy, you know, Cancerian is also about family. And this is not to say that you necessarily might be thinking about starting a family, but when we're thinking about this Venus and Cancer energy, this really is, if you're thinking about wanting to, like, you know, get in like a real serious relationship, kind of settle down, and not to say that you can't have, like, you know, maybe light flings or anything, but just if that's something that you're really thinking about, taking it to that next level, that's Venus and Cancer is great for really getting to know someone, to really enjoy deep conversations and to express your emotions, to really kind of feel the energy and just, great great time. Gemini setting you up to communicate, and Cancer's setting you up for love there. So, and you know, the Page of Cups, he gives me very, like, when I think about the Page of Cups, he's of the signs, he reminds me the most of Pisces. And Pisces is very much about romance. They're very loving, compassionate energy. So yeah, if we're thinking about romance, if we're thinking about romance, Scorpio, but let's do it on the flip side, just because thinking with the Six of Swords in reverse. And we're going to pull some more on this, but if we're noticing something that maybe if we're in like a strained love relationship or something, and we're having troubles maybe letting go of just things don't quite seem to be working out. And again, if this doesn't necessarily just have to be with love. This could be with a friend, you know, maybe a family member, co-workers. You can have a work family too. If there is that kind of tension there, Scorpio, we do want to be mindful, you know, putting up some boundaries or something, you know, just if it's lowering your vibration, keeping you from moving on to that next steps, got you stressed and things. Don't let that, because listen, I get those conversations can be a little hard, but it's what's harder is staying in the state that you're in if that's something that's resonating with you. So we just want to be mindful of that. But also with this energy, you know, if we're not looking for love, this can really just be about pursuing your passions. You know, if this is just like, if this is starting up a job, or even, again, if this is starting up a hobby, you know, just doing more passionate things, you know, that really helps keep the energies going. It keeps you inspired, it keeps the mind sharp. It keeps your intuition. It really does wonders for you when you carve out those moments of time when you balance. Because even with this thing here, when we're talking about doing stuff you love, it's less about, I feel like with this, if we've been in a state of, like, let's say, for example, with work, if we've been in like a work hard, play hard type of state, that kind of energy where I get it, but it's like when you're finished working so hard and you get ready to go on vacation, do some things, you know, do some loving things, some self-care things for yourself. It takes a minute to it's like you got to force yourself in vacation mode. And by the time you really get settled in, it's almost time to go back to work. And then really you need a vacation from your vacation. So I feel like with this energy too, it's just saying, let's work smart, play smart. You know, let's see if we can balance that. Like, instead of carving out maybe like that 1 week a year, or however long, you know, however you may take vacation, Scorpio. Let's see if we can do it in more consistent pockets. You know, make it a routine for you, okay? But let's get some more tarot on this and get some details. Scorpio. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I love that, Scorpio. Okay. So we got the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Coins in reverse, and that's fine, because guess what? You got the Star card upright. And this to me, I just got chills. This to me, for some of you, if we've been in a situation, again, apply it to, you know, if we're in something, if we notice something is happening that is bringing your energy levels down, and if it feels like it's getting you in the way of you achieving your dreams and your goals and whatever that may be looking like, then let's start moving towards healing from that. You know, start putting that behind us. Let's not, because Six of Swords in reverse really is like staying stuck in this past, you know, and rethinking that we may not have like a way out of this thing. But you absolutely do, Scorpio. It's just we have to think outside of the box a little bit. We have to get a little innovative here. This is the Star card. This is Aquarius's card. And so just for some of you, but it can be a card of healing as well. And I find that if that's resonating with you, we start taking these steps towards that healing, you know, and leaving the stuff in the past here, you're going to feel like a star. It's going to get you in a place where it'll unlock all of you'll be able to really see your potential again, you know, realize, you know, what your passions are, what you're here to do, what you're meant to create. I mean, look at, I love this Ace of Wands, how it's got like this artist here and this heat. You know, that's what this whole journey is about. But I also feel like maybe for some others that maybe maybe we're thinking about that. We may be just like, we're at that spot right now where we're thinking about, what does my legacy look like? What do I want to create to leave behind? You know, whether that be, maybe do I want to start, because maybe we could be thinking about, maybe with the pages here, you know, this is childlike energy. Maybe we're thinking about starting a family, or do we want to focus on career? Do we want to try to balance the two? Might be a lot of big questions. I mean, two aces, we might have a lot of big questions here, but that's perfect. That gives you a chance, I really feel like, to pause with this, you know, really sit and think about what areas get you fired up, that really raises your vibration, and then let's start channeling our energy towards those things. Let's start figuring out, and you know, if we're not sure what that dream is, because I'm all over the place. A lot of those questions, you know, as far as like the passion, what do I want, you know, in life? Where do I see myself? It's all within. But if we do need someone to bounce some ideas off of, Aquarius energy, they're all about networking. That's one of their things as well. So don't feel afraid. Like if you're just need someone, maybe like a sounding board to maybe kind of help you along. Hell, maybe this person might resonate with your idea. Maybe you might partner up with them. Wouldn't that be a bonus? But look at you working Pluto in Aquarius. But don't let the idea of those bigger questions, when we think about like what's next, you know, how does this big dream look? You know, we're spending the whole journey, Scorpio, building 10 of Pentacles. We may never get to it, but bet you're going to get close, and enjoy that along the way, because when we're in that state, because you're manifesting, you're creating, and that's something it just makes this whole journey worthwhile. So don't feel like that you have to force yourself. Maybe I feel like with this Six of Swords, maybe just another little thing. I'm kind of giving this more like a little intuitive feel. If you feeling like this pressure to like have it figured out right now, you know, we're just doing stuff just to do stuff. We want to be mindful of that. Make sure that it speaks to you, that it just, because I mean, you're represented by the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups follows his heart. So, you know, really be thinking about that, Scorpio. Interesting. Okay. Because you got the Four of Cups in reverse here. You know, I feel like with this Four of Cups, it almost gives me the feeling that maybe some of us have kind of lost this. Maybe I don't want to say we've lost passion for life, but it's just like maybe life hasn't been feeling as exciting. You know, maybe there's just nothing that has been, it's just maybe things just sort of felt kind of meh. You know, it's been sort of like just kind of same old type of stuff. And, you know, it's like, when is life going to change? And Scorpio, if that's something that's resonating with you, life's going to change when you want it to. You know, we have to put in those steps. We have to get innovative. We have to get imaginative. What do you want this world to look like? What'll get you out of this rut, if that's something that's resonating with you? Because this is the moon in Cancer, this card. And when I think about this card, sometimes the moon in Cancer, sometimes we can get in this place of comfort where it's just like we want things to change, but when you think about the work that may come into it, it's not that it's a lot and that you can't handle it, but it's just sometimes it's like we don't want to leave a comfort zone. You know what I'm saying, Scorpio? It can feel a little difficult sometimes, even when we know that it's going to be worth it in the long run. And it's just getting out of your head and changing that mindset. And when you because if that's something that's resonating with you, really try not to stay in that place, because life there's such beauty that there is in this world, Scorpio, if that's something that's resonating with you. And you know what? If you don't think there is, then make it. Okay, fine there, artist. Let's see it. Let's see what you got. And I say that, yes, as a challenge. I am challenging you, Scorpio, but I'm also like, I'm excited because what does that mean? What is Scorpio bringing out from the depths of all this change? Because there's change happening all over the place, Scorpio, and it can feel uncertain, but all these energies are clearing this space out for you to fill up some cups. Get your Ace of, or get your 10 of coins and your Ace of coins. Why not? It ain't here yet, but that's because we're cooking it up. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. Just if you've been yearning to do something, or just life has been just kind of like come to a halt, let's change that thing up. Let's add that heat, add some passion, some romance to it. All right, Scorpio. I like that. That's how we do it. Now, now the energies are going to might get a little tricky here for you, Scorpio, because we have these next couple ones are going to be interesting. Because let me get some tea before we get into this thing. Because you have Leo, Mars is going to be entering Leo, actually a day before the Sun, on the 20th of May, and will be in Leo through the 10th of July. And the nice thing about this energy, it encourages us to do all of this, to tap into to find moment, like to recognize all the positive moments in our life, especially if we've been feeling 4 cups in reverse, to find all the positivity in our life and make more moments for happiness, excitement, and for play, really. Because sometimes, the universe can only give us so much. If we don't see that, if we're not liking what we're seeing, we gotta change the vibration up. We gotta shift directions. Gotta adjust your slingshot. But this energy is a great opportunity. I was saying, for following your heart, and increased creativity, because Leo energy is, just creative, like all get out. Them in Aquarius, they really have just brilliant minds. And this is also great energy for leadership and confidence, just really coming into that. And great energy if we're feeling stuck, not feeling inspired. Get out there, just move the energy, Scorpio. Go for a run, or you don't have to do anything super strenuous. Do some yoga, just move the body. Maybe go, I love it. Maybe go do some rowing. Go get on a kayak. Get by some water. Maybe go travel. This 6 of Swords definitely can be a card to travel. Maybe getting out there, seeing the world, reminding yourself what is out there and what opportunities you can seize. Because maybe this is if we're not feeling inspired where we're at, maybe we even need to possibly change the space up, just something to think about there, Scorpio. But the reason that this energy may be a little challenging for you is because that when a planet or a luminary gets into Leo for you, gets into Leo or gets into Aquarius, they're going to form a square with your sign, and a square is a 90 degree. I don't know if I told you about the trine. The trine forms 120 degrees, but the square forms a 90 degree angle. And the squares can be more difficult energy, but when we work with the challenges, we work with the tension and stuff, we get very rich rewards. But Squares can cause like internal conflicts, restrictions, challenges, delays, but like I was saying, achievements can come with this. We can figure out how we can integrate these energies. So, during these next about month and a half-ish, just something to pay attention to, Scorpio, when they're in this energy. You may find yourself being forced to create some things, maybe forced to change some things. So squares, if I had to describe how a square works, it's like your car breaks down and you got to take it into a shop for a week. And so it's changing your whole game. There's nothing you can do about it. Like external influences just happen. So now it's like, do I have public transportation around me? Am I taking Lyft all the time? What does that mean? It shakes the game up. We weren't feeling the change. Well, here's the change. But it is for the better. It gets you, it shows you too, when you get through that energy, how resourceful you are, how imaginative you are, how innovative you are. So it can really be, this Leo energy could either, this could be our best friend or a tough enemy. But either way, they're trying to lead you towards growth. It's just, what role do you need them to take? But let's get an oracle on this. Interesting. Okay, you got the fourth card of Aquarius here, which is the corset card. And with the corset, this is a card of held together, boundaries, restriction, prim and proper, following rules, structured, buttoned up, perfect posture, holding it together, support, shapeshift, and people pleaser. And honestly, Scorpio, especially since you got the star card too, the people pleaser in that kind of aspect. If we're in something, a situation where we're feeling restricted, or that you have to, and listen, I'm not saying that there's anything what's wrong with structure and following rules and things, but if it's hindering your creativity and it's hindering your growth, and there's not a balance there, because there's a difference between order and structure and then like control. You know what I mean, Scorpio? So just be mindful of that. If we find ourselves in something like that, we want to move past this, because that can be a thing that can prevent you from, I don't want to say even prevent you from getting 10 of coins, but it just makes it like we're taking the long way, as opposed to, maybe accelerating this a little bit. But something too, just even think with that people pleaser, we want to be mindful of, if we're like putting our dreams on like the back burner for someone else, like we can work where, because I feel like that's something that could happen in love, just even thinking about that, like where we can be so wrapped up in someone else's dream that we forget our own. And the thing with relationships, where yes, we do want our partners, to thrive, of course, and to achieve, but there needs to be a balance. It's like where, hey, like, are you in a good place? I think I'm going to focus on this thing here. And then, when we need that help, there's that six of coins, that reciprocity. So just making sure that there's that going on, whether this is in a relationship, or in general, But another thing too, Scorpio, just thinking with that shapeshift and just with where the energies are going right now, this is a time you want to be adaptable. We need to be, because there's going to be, Uranus is still wreaking havoc in Taurus. Pluto's just doing it. We're getting set up, honestly, for Aquarius for next year. But we want to be mindful of, like, this is a great time where, sure, rules are great, but this is a great time to break the rules a little bit, Scorpio, within reason. Don't get in trouble. But think outside of the box, because there's going to be a lot of, we want to be mindful, one, of getting caught up in the echo chamber, because there's going to be, that might be that little pocket that's just screaming doom and gloom, and then everything's going to, the world's on fire. But it's just like, okay, the world's on fire, what are we going to grow from the ashes? Because that's the whole point of this journey, but let's get some tarot on this. And yeah, get some more. Oh, wow! Let's get some more details on that. That's one of your cards, Scorpio. That's you got the Five of Cups here. Let me see what else you got here. You got Five of Cups. Ooh, Libra, Justice card, and then you got the King of Wands here. And Scorpio, with this energy, this is Mars, like I was saying, this is Mars in Scorpio, and I feel like that this can be a card of disappointment. If we've been feeling disappointed with maybe with like the hand we have dealt, or maybe with where the circumstances are at, you know, maybe things haven't been feeling in balance. The Justice card of cause and effect. What has been causing these effects up until now? You know, what has been? Have we been not doing things that resonate with us? Have people been holding us back? Do we need to set up boundaries? What does that look like? And let's achieve harmony. Let's achieve that justice. Let's get a game plan. King of Wands all day. Figure out how we can get out of this mess. You know, from feeling disappointment to feeling. I had thought I had something clever from that. From feeling confident. I thought I had a, you know, but this also, because when you think about Libra energy, they are a sign of relationships, but theirs can be a sign. In order to keep the harmony, they maybe, you know, can be a tendency to compromise, you know, to like, because they're weighing all of the options, we want to try to be as diplomatic as possible, but we don't want to be we don't want to be to this place of where we're just like, almost like subservient, or, I hope this is making sense, Scorpio, but we just want to be mindful of just like that give and take. I really feel like that if we don't want to rock the boat because of whatever reason, you know, just something to be mindful of as well there, Scorpio. But see, do I have anything else with that? Okay, no, I think that's all I got there, Mark. All right, Scorpio, but really take this time, because this is an interesting energy here, and that's what I kind of feel. That this is going to be kind of a tricky time for you. Might require a little more effort, I feel, than normal. We're going to need to probably take a lot of things, and it's going to be maybe a bit of a balancing act here. Maybe this next little bit, but the work is going to be worth it in the long run, because it's going to help you get eyes on some things, you know, and then help you to cook up some game plans and restore order and get your security, get your structure, and get everything back balanced again. But let's talk about Taurus energy, because you have Jupiter that's going to be entering Taurus. Actually, when I'm recording this, actually the day that this is releasing, is Jupiter will be entering Taurus, and then Uranus has been in Taurus for a little while. We'll be in Taurus until July 7th, 2025. But let's talk about Jupiter and Taurus first, because Jupiter and Taurus is exactly asking this question: what does your legacy look like? You know, what can we invest in that's going to last, you know, for the long term? Because, you know, Jupiter is a planet of abundance, expansion, higher learning, and we want to be mindful of that, because Jupiter can be a double-edged sword there, Scorpio, in the sense that Jupiter is very abundant in how he gives, but what he's abundant in, how that abundance look, is going to depend on you. And if we're staying in a place that is lowering our vibration, then that's where we're going to get abundance of disappointment and wondering what's going on and why we're not getting to our 10 of Pentacles. But that's not to scare you. It's just to get you thinking, you know, like, how can we shift this stuff up, you know, because Jupiter's going to be in Taurus for the next year. So be thinking about this stuff. You know, how can we take this energy to get closer to this goals? How can we shift up this stuff? If things have been feeling in a rut. And then with Uranus being in Taurus, Uranus has been in Taurus for like the last about 8 years or so. And, you know, when Uranus brings change. They rule Aquarius along with Saturn, and Uranus is a planet of revolution. So, and when you think about Taurus, they're your opposite sign. They're a sign of security, you know, the senses, but the big thing is that security, that foundation, you know, maybe even like your self-esteem, that stuff is that whole platform it's evolving, because, you know, when outer planets move, it's a big deal, and that's what Uranus is just clearing the stage for this new stuff to come in, for you to bring in whatever 10 of coins looks like, you know, bring in some beauty, because Libra, they're a very creative sign, very artistic, you know, all about beauty and aesthetics. How can we bring in some of that Empress energy, you know, Venus, and manifest on top of this stuff here? Because if life has been feeling disappointing up until now, really, Scorpio, this is the time to take that energy and you know, put this, it's in your hands. You know, we just gotta, what do we want to, how does that look, and what can we do with it? But also, Scorpio, with this happening, you know, they're going to be, depending on where you have Scorpio placements, this is going to be forming an opposition with your sign, because Taurus is the opposite of your sign. And oppositions are another one that causes some tension. You know, there's some polarities because you're mixing two opposite energies together, you know, trying to get them to integrate. You know, there may be some uncertainty, you know, the relationship might be a little weird, but again, when we can work with these conflicts, you know, see that these moments of adversity that might come up in the future is really not just meant to just get you feeling disappointed in things. It's really meant to raise your vibration. Then the scales start tipping, you know, things start balancing out, and just this whole picture becomes a lot more clear, Scorpio. But let's get an oracle on this and get some more details. Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Okay, you got the third card of Pisces here, which is the roundabout card. And this is a card of community, connections, new direction, keep it moving, controls the flow of information, solutions, circular reasoning, fluid, many working parts, perfect timing, and redirect. And that's kind of what we've been talking about, Scorpio. If the energies haven't been feeling that they've been going your way, then we need to redirect this stuff. We need to figure out how we can work with these situations, because if we get stuck in just like focusing on how crappy a situation can be, then that's all it's gonna be. Like that's just the facts. Take it from me. Like I was caught up in a roundabout for a number of years, long time, and what we tell ourselves, Scorpio, our world, like I was saying, our thoughts are powerful, and that permeates throughout our environment. So we need to think of a new direction if that's something that's resonating with you. And then once we get that energy flowing, keep it moving. But also, Scorpio, don't be afraid to, if you are going through a tough time, if this is something that you're not sure about, we were talking about this. Talk with your community, you know, your soul tribe, your friends, your family, your loved ones, people that you trust, you know, to be vulnerable with. This is what Venus and Cancer is about, you know, really being open with our emotions. How can we figure out this stuff? And, well, just one of the things. But you really do control the flow of information. You know, we can choose what thoughts we attach to and how we feel about the thoughts. That's the thing, because thoughts, you know, some thoughts, they just come up, you know, we can't. Take it from me, you know, like having a Cancer Sun, Gemini Moon, all I'm thinking about is emotions and things. It can be a lot, but it can be a lot if we attach to it. But when you just observe it, it's just like, okay, what is this going to be? If this is not something to perfect, just keep it moving. Okay, thank you. You get that thought, love, and light, and then you send it on. You know, acknowledge it, because if it came up, there's something there that we might need to, you know, get some eyes on, maybe let go. But just some random things. But really, don't suffer, or, you know, try not to suffer in silence. You know, I would never tell you what to do. And you know, this is a judgment-free zone. And that might be something too, when we're talking about with these people, establish a judgment-free zone. But let's get some tarot on this. Oh. Okay, Scorpio, I like it. Ha! There you are. One of your cards. When we just talking about him. You got the Knight of Cups here, and then you got the Nine of Wands. And you know, Scorpio, with the Nine of Wands, you know, this with you know, the Leo, with Mars squaring your sign, you know, with I feel like it's mainly when we're looking into our birth charts, I don't know if I mentioned this, you know, you just need your date of birth, time of birth, place of birth when you look into your astrology chart. Because Uranus is pretty far along in Taurus, so how the degree that you may feel that opposition is going to from Uranus, it really is more so going to depend on what degree your Scorpio placements fall. But with Jupiter just freshly moving into this year, where it can be abundant, it's just going to be, it might be just a little tricky for you, Scorpio, but that's going to be fine, because yours is you are a resilient sign, because yours is probably of the zodiac, because yours is a sign of transformation. Yours is one that if something isn't, if it's preventing growth, if it's not resonating with you, then how can we evolve from that? How can we, you know, change? How can we change the energy up, you know, and get again to that state of harmony? But it's going to be something you're going to have to really rely on, that resilience, Scorpio, and trust your strength and know that you're stronger than you know and that you can handle this. But two, like I was saying, you don't have to shoulder that all by yourself. You know, sometimes it's nice to lean on someone, just to, even if it's just to have someone just to listen. You know, maybe if you don't even want like a opinion, maybe you can just find someone just like, hey, can I just talk at you for a little bit, just kind of just vent and just get all this out there, and then maybe after you get it out, maybe we might want to share some more. But really, Knight of Cups, just really don't suffer in silence. And I do feel that as another thing, Scorpio, these challenges, you know, where adversities can be they can be tough, yes. But when we remember that it's getting us towards a happier place, when we remember the end game, you know, take a moment every time that you've gotten through a day and you've gotten one step closer to your goal, because it may be, you know, it might take a second, it might be real fast, however the pace is. Applaud yourself, you know, give yourself a round of applause, like, you know, that you did it, that you took one step closer to this Ten of Pentacles. Things are becoming a little more clear now, and, you know, we're getting more intentions with we're really getting intentional with our actions. But yeah, just really something to think about. I feel that when we start doing things, start focusing on energies that just cause us less strain, it alleviates this burden that the Nine of Wands can bring. But I also, you just even thinking about, you know, with the love as well. Let's get on, because you do got, you know, Knight of Cups, roses, you know. If we've found that maybe our relationships, maybe we're been cycling through like the same type of people, maybe, you know, maybe if this is love, friends, what do they have in common? I mean, other than you, Scorpio, I'm not coming at you, but I mean, what trait are you noticing that they have in common? Why does there keep being this sense of disappointment if that's something that's resonating with you? Have we talked to these people about this thing? You know, have we put that out there? You know, just something. But if you do find that you've just seemed to be in like the same kind of situation over and over and over again, then at some point, where I wasn't coming at you, Scorpio, when I said that what do they all have in common, but aside from, you know, whatever trait that they may share, they do have you in common, Scorpio. And it can, when we get eyes on that and we understand that in itself is freeing, because it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, I was making these decisions and that kind of sucks, but I was making these decisions, so I can change this rotation. You know what I mean? We can get out of this funk, and then when we do, the universe is just like, yes, now you're working with the energies. Here's love. Here's the abundance. You know, then the gears start. Jupiter just start being abundant. The wheels start turning differently. Everything is beautiful, Scorpio. Let's see what else we got here. All right, Scorpio, so you got the Two of Wands in reverse here, and then you got the Seven of Swords upright. And so, you know, with the Seven of Swords, this can be a card of like trickery, deception, cunning. But I feel like in this instance, it's more so we got to get eyes on if we're if we've been attracting, let's say, liars, cheaters, like deceptive, then being honest with ourselves. Why do we keep attracting these people? Are we not paying attention to any type of red flags? Do we need to maybe move a little slower? Just thinking with this Two of Wands before, maybe we're the type that's just like, really. I was talking with Libra, they're about relationships. Maybe we like relationships, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just like the type of relationships that we're attracting. Because here's the thing too, Scorpio, you want to be really mindful being a water sign. Water sign, my sun sign's in Cancer. We want to be mindful of the people that we're attracting, because we are, you Cancer and Pisces are, we just absorb emotions differently. We're more in tune in that aspect of that. And, we can take on the energies of others. And you, on a more specific level, you go to a depths with people that it's different than Cancer or Pisces. So you really want to be careful about how we're investing in people and situations and things. Maybe I feel like this Two of Wands, if we've just been maybe kind of rushing into stuff, this really is kind of giving me more of a sense of like really kind of slowing down and just observing what is going down, and so that we can start learning just start recognizing some truths about ourselves and figure out how we can change the narrative here and get out of this, this roundabout situation, control the flow of information. But one more thing, Scorpio, just thinking with like how we were talking about like dreams and things. This can be something too where if we're not sure about, what's next, or if we're thinking about this, like, or how do I want to put this? Not if like, let's say we have the dream, but we're not sure how we're going to do it. The Seven of Swords can also be a card of tactics, learning new things. Or if there's too much to learn, if you have your focus, but dividing that would be too much, then again, maybe hitting up people that have these skills, kind of something to alleviate that pressure, so that maybe you can get the quick and dirty from them, and that, you know what I mean, Scorpio? So be thinking about that. Be thinking, you got a lot at your disposal here. I know when we're in it, in the challenges and things, it's hard to see the abundance. It's hard to see the finish line and what that's looking like, even though we know we've done it before. But it's going to get better, Scorpio, and it's just really be mindful of your thoughts. If we tell ourselves it's not, that's a lie, Scorpio, and you know what I mean. We want to be careful of that. You can absolutely get out of this, if we find ourselves stuck in like a cycle, okay? Alrighty. quite a bit to unpack on that one there, Scorpio, but I'm with it. Let's get some tea and then let's get on to Pisces. Because we got two contenders in Pisces. We got Saturn in Pisces, and then we have Uranus, look at that, Uranus just went backwards. And then we got Neptune in Pisces. And let's talk about Neptune. Because Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. Neptune stays in a sign for about 14-ish years. And Neptune rules over Pisces. And with that, with Neptune being at home, Pisces energy is very dreamy, very imaginative, creative. They remind me of the Page of Cups. And we want to be mindful, if we have any sort of dreams and things, we want to be careful about that just circulating in your head, Scorpio. We want to, you remember, you're the one who started this. We want to bring it from the dome to the home and let that stuff, and let that manifest. Even just writing these things down, perfect example of manifestation, at its most basic. Just getting it down there, so that we at least have eyes on it. So it's like we have something to work towards. But also with Neptune and Pisces, this can be great energy for building a community, because that is such, you talk about compassion just cranked up to the max. We really can, this is a great time for forming a soul tribe, forming a community, really, come on, Venus and Neptune in this. Want to talk about forming a strong, trusting connection, you know what I mean? So really work with that Neptune and Pisces energy, and be careful about getting stuck in roundabout things and really the people that we're attracting, because, and this is not to scare you, but it's just to get you thinking about some things, because when Neptune's going to be moving into Aries towards the end of 2025, or excuse me, around like the beginning of April 2025 roughly. And Neptune in Aries, where that can be a rise of, spiritual leaders and things. It could be a really great time for just love and stuff to prevail. But it could also be a weird time, where we may have extremists kind of come up, as far as like, cultish type things and areas like that. So we really want to be mindful about what the people we're attracting, the relationships that we're forming, justice, and just really, Scorpio, trust your intuition, because Scorpio, you have strong intuition. So really trust that. And the nice thing, okay, no, that's it. I think it's that I got on Neptune, and then Saturn being in Pisces. This is another, I honestly, I'm really excited for what's about to go down in Pisces for water signs in particular, with all this retrograde stuff, because Saturn's going retrograde. Saturn's going to be retrograding in Pisces on the 16th of June and will be retrograde until the 4th of November. And, retrograde times in general are just a time of reflection. But when Saturn does it, he means business. Because, Saturn is he's the taskmaster, planet of restrictions and limitations, time, karma. And when Saturn's going retrograde, he's like, what you been doing, Scorpio? What are you up to? Think of it like a cosmic interrogation. But he just been wondering, like, have we been living our dreams, or are we stuck somewhere? And it's like, what are we stuck in? What's causing you tension? What's got you restricted? What is that? So that we can start alleviating that. So we can start tipping the scales a little bit, so that we can get to action, really. So, and with him being in Pisces, in particular, this is a great time for soul searching and doing that shadow work, because there might be some delays, there may be some setbacks. It's going to be a slow, but it's going to be a steady progress here, Scorpio, and we just got to work with the energies. But the lovely thing about this thing with both of the planets, well, Neptune is going to be a little more specific, again, like how with like Uranus, depending on where your degree is on your Scorpio placements, if it's going to form a trine, because the trines are, oh, I already told you about that with Cancer. But with that, with Saturn and, especially with Saturn, I feel like forming a trine, this can be, I feel like, a little bit easier of a reflective time for the water signs. We can, and because we're so intuitive and can, more just in touch with just naturally more in touch with our emotions, work with that. Really milk this retrograde to the max. Really take this time. Think about right now. I feel like this year, just really with how the signs have gone up, or how the energies have been up until now. This really is, I feel like this year, 2023, is setting the foundation for all signs so far, at least that I've done it for 2024 and going forward. The next 2 decades, when Pluto really gets settled into Aquarius and the innovation really gets cooking. So just something to be mindful of. Really think about that. What do you want to create in this wonderful time that we really are in, Scorpio. But let's get an oracle on this. Let's see. Ha! I dig it. You got the 7th card of Aries here, which is the kerosene card. And with this card, this is a card of aggressive, accelerate, ignite, determined, fuel, encourage, sustain, powerful, stimulate, volatile situation, provoke, watch out, unpredictable, combustible, propel, and hot. And I will say, Scorpio, just with how I was talking about the squares and the oppositions, how you might be feeling these tensions, just be mindful of being reactive, because you're ruled by traditionally by Mars, and then your modern ruler is Pluto. But I say you're dope, and you got 2 rulers in my book. But Mars is aggressive sometimes. At a lower vibration, it can be very aggressive. And when we get in a place of frustration and things, and we seem like situations aren't going our way, we can make knee-jerk reactions and potentially exacerbate a problem. So we just want to be mindful of that. If you find yourselves in where you feel your energies are getting hot and you're just about ready to just snap, you know what? Let's breathe. Let's remove yourself from the situation, gather yourself, and then maybe let's try this thing again later, however that's looking. But we just don't want to be. We want to be careful about that heat, and then being reactive, Scorpio. But I also do feel that with this energy, just how because you got the 2 of Wands and Ace of Wands in reverse. If there's a passion that you want to pursue, or if there's something that, that's going to get you've been thinking about your 10 of Pentacles, but you're not sure, maybe we're worried that people may not like what we're doing, or maybe whatever that could be. Or maybe we don't think it's good enough, whatever it is. Scorpio, you'll never know until we get it out there. Because, it's whatever this creation is, if you're starting a job, side hustle, even if you're just doing a hobby, we just don't want to get to this place where we're just sitting on this energy and not doing anything with it. It's because then it translates into tension, into anxiety, because those are the energies like, hey, Scorpio, it's like the energy's ripe. I don't have I thought I had an example. An example may come up to me in a minute, but King of Wands. Oh, one is a jumper, but King of Wands. If he's got something that he's passionate about and is going to help him grow, because he rules the first 2 deacons of Sagittarius' card, but he rules the first 2 deacons of Sagittarius and the last of your sign, Scorpio. And when he's going to do something that's was going to raise his vibration, bet he's going to be hyper focused. He's going to figure this. Talk about really setting your focus there with that slingshot. He's going to figure this focus, get a game plan, and bet you he's ready, aim, fire. Ace of Wands all day. So just something to think about there, Scorpio. But let's get some oracle, or get a tarot on this. All right, Scorpio, so you got the 2 of Cups in reverse here. Interesting. We got the Queen of Swords in reverse, and then you got the 4 of Coins upright. And just how we were talking about that relationship thing earlier, Scorpio, because you got another one, because Queen of Swords is another one of Libra's cards, and 2 of Cups, very romantic card. And if something in our love, let me start with if something I feel if our relationships, like our love life it's feeling not feeling harmonious, or you feel like you're trapped or something along those lines, I feel like don't ignore your instincts. Queen of Swords, she's very intuitive. She's I mean, look at that. She's this Queen of Swords in particular. She's a hard ass. She's got all these heads back here. She don't play around. And if people are coming with her with nonsense, Scorpio, I'm not saying we're not taking heads, not literally, but she's going to keep it moving, because she ain't got time for sycophants. She ain't got time for people. She ain't got time, because And the thing is, it's not that the Queen of Swords is cold. The Queen of Swords is very loving, but you just need to come correct, because she's going to match you, and that's what, if you give her crazy, then that's what you're going to catch right back. So, but it's, my thing is, Scorpio, if things aren't, if you're seeing these signs, if you've been, maybe we've been trying to fix this thing, maybe this will change, whatever that is. Again, I wouldn't tell you what to do, and this is a judgment-free zone here, but we got to get some clarity on this. You got to understand how this is affecting you. At least just sit there, if we could take a moment and just kind of just meditate on that, how our relationships are affecting us, I feel like that will help you get you back in balance in the long run. Because the Two of Cups as well, you know, outside, now let's break out of the relationship a little bit. This can be about your relationship with your higher self too. You know, when it just comes to the situations we may get stuck in, the relationships that we attract, or the dreams we're trying to achieve. If we're not listening to that higher self, future self, you know, however you connect with the source, then things are going to get a little murky. You know, we're just sort of like just kind of going with it, you know, no real direction. But you got to tune into that what fuels you, you know, what lights a fire in you, because that's what higher self wants, you know, wants you to get to, even in times of adversity. These are to meant you to get you pumped. It's not meant to just like get you in a place where, to get you just, you know, to deter you or anything like that. Higher self is trying to show you the potential that you have, because and this may sound cliche, but higher self will never throw anything at you that you can't handle. You know, you got it. You know, it's just knowing that you got it and believing that you got it and getting out of your head if you don't think you do. Seven of Swords, you absolutely do. It's just, what are we telling ourselves? Let's change the narrative up a little bit if that's something that's resonating with you. But really think about this stuff. What areas have got us locked down, feels restricted, maybe feeling a little tight, a little suffocated, and let's adjust that. Let's see what else we got here, Scorpio. Right, thank you, Chariot. Keep it moving. That's what I'm talking about there, Scorpio. Because when we do, the Chariot is your victory. That's getting you to that win. But we first got to do that shadow work. So you gotta, in order to get this momentum and get to that victory, we gotta do something. We got Two of Wands. When we get eyes on this thing, you know, recognize what's holding us back, what's keeping us. Ten of Swords, getting us to this Ten of Pentacles. I say Ten of Swords, it's Ace of Wands, not even a sword. See, Scorpio, well, no, that's, never mind. But when we get out of that rut, and you know, we change the narrative, it really shifts this vibration here, Scorpio. This doesn't have to be where we're just like, where it just feels like that life is against you, you know, like we just want to be careful of that. But because too, you know how we're talking about Libra being in relationships, Cancer. This is Cancer's card. And Cancer's, I mean, Sun in Cancer, I like relationships. But Cancers are very much about security too, and we want, you know, you want to make sure that we're not letting something like that. We're not forgetting the relationship with ourselves, Scorpio, you know, and that we're not forgetting to nurture our dreams and our things. You know, there's a balance that needs to be had when we're on this journey. You know, it's a mutual process here. So, all right. Okay, let's get one more swig of tea, and let's talk about Capricorn. Because your other ruler, Pluto, is going to be moving, or is going to be retrograding into Capricorn on the 11th of June, and will be retrograde in Capricorn until the 10th of October. And then we'll be in Capricorn until it moves officially into Aquarius next year. But with Pluto retrograding in Capricorn, another chance for reflection. This is asking, what do you need to be independent? I'll talk about all this relationship stuff. What do we need to feel independent and feel like we can do what we want based off of what we've earned, you know, because Capricorn is all about achievement, accomplishments, you know, their hard work. Talk about Nine of Wands all day. That's, you know, it's funny, this is Sagittarius' card. There's a moon in Sagittarius, but really this is more kind of, as far as like putting in that drive, that's Capricorn all day, putting in that work. But also, this energy asks us, do we need to change any patterns? Are we going in a roundabout situation? You know, are we in this, you know, Scorpio, this could even be like some kind of, like if this is like a vice or anything like that, you know, maybe like a drug, sex, alcohol, gambling type of deal, whatever it is, do we need to change any patterns? And then last, like, what does success look like to you? You know, what is you in a higher vibration? What's 10 of coins looking like? And then let's go out there and do it. That's plain and simple. I like that. Pluto's efficient like that. But let's get some and again, depending on where your Scorpio placement is, Pluto's going to be retrograding, I'm going to say up to like the 27th degree of Capricorn. So if your Scorpio placements fall towards that latter end of the degrees of Scorpio, you might feel that little shift a little bit more, but it's going to form a sextile, which is nice because the sextiles after the trines are very fortunate energy. They form like a 60-degree angle, and trines where. But the things with trines, with sextiles, where they're easy energies to work with, we do have to put in the work. You know, it's kind of passive energy. You know, it's like if someone's I'll give you a great example. Someone presented me with an opportunity actually, and it was nothing, major, but at first, I just laughed it off. I was like, oh no, like I completely just dismissed skills and everything and just like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Like there's no way I could. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That would actually help me with this, and then would help me strengthen that, and then do this other thing. And I was just like, luckily I know the person, so it's just like, hey, does that offer still stand? But that's a sextile situation there, Scorpio. When things like that, we want to just be mindful of that. You know, maybe don't rush to say, no, take from my example, don't rush to say no when opportunities come for you. But, you know, that's pretty much how sextile energy works. So that's just something to just little extra nugget there. But let's get an oracle on this, Scorpio. Dope. Ha! I love it. You got the 6th card of Libras here, which is the repairman. And with this repairman, this is a card of repair, fine tune, heal, fix, many working parts, needs, where am I at? Reset, proceed carefully, needs fixing, make adjustments, recover, skilled, make things right, mend, restore, and upgrade it. And so with this Scorpio, I mean, look at that. You got a couple cards. You got many working parts. And you know, this life is just many working parts here. You know, we got to fine tune things. You know, like I was saying, 10 of coins, we may not get to our 10 of coins, whatever that looks like for us, but we're going to get close to it. But in order to get to that space, it's going to be a bunch of tweaks. There's going to be adversities, but it's all going to going to lead to growth. So if there's something, just like we're going to come to the gamut, if there's something where business, side hustle, start that thing up and just start it up. And you'll make adjustments as you go, Scorpio. You know, it's one of those things that if you keep a dream in a dream, we can only anticipate so many things going, wrong. And if that's something we've been doing, let's say with these situations, like, well, okay, now that we've gone through that list, what ways can it go right? Let's raise the vibration. We've been operating here. Let's okay. You got your backup plans. But what are we going to do? What positives can come from this, Scorpio? Because when we focus on that, it just makes this journey just a lot more easier. And even the hard times, where the waters may get a little choppy, but we can still power through it because we've taken this time. We've learned where we need to heal, what needs to be repaired, what needs to be fine-tuned. And something else, Scorpio, just on outside of like a business. Working in more time, I feel like just for some passions, just in general, because if you got a skill that you want to improve, maybe you're a skilled boatsman, or maybe you ride horses, or maybe you're a samurai. That'd be sick. But work on these skills there, swordsman. But this is the energies are great for that, like Mars and Leo, have some fun. Why not become a swordsman? Not that I said that, but Also, Scorpio, like how we were talking with that slingshot, if you've been under tension and stress and anxiety and things, heal, tune, because we can't do any of that stuff if we're not checking in with ourselves, doing that internal, preventative maintenance, whether that be taking some times for some mental relief, or, maybe moving the body if we haven't been, if things have gotten a little stagnant that way, or however this may translate for you, Scorpio. And even if this, and one other thing though, I will say with this energy, kind of going, because this is Libra's card and we've been talking about, relationships. If we've been trying to fix something, because here's the thing, when we think about fixing relationships, we fix relationships, how do I want to put this? If you're willing to work to fix a relationship, Scorpio, but the other party is, because both of you gotta, I thought you had a C. Okay, just those twos. But if you've been putting in this, and actually these twos are perfect. If you've been putting in this energy in relationship, but the other parties are not reciprocating, there's no kind of action that's taking there, you can only fix something so far. That's just like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And if that horse is not drinking or not going anywhere, then, we need to have a discussion, because we can't fix people. Not if they don't want to be fixed or want to be, and not even fixed is weird, but if they're not putting in the work to help repair a relationship, let's say, then be mindful of how long we're investing in this, because I would tell you what to do. I'm not saying necessarily leave this person, or situation, but if there's not that reciprocity, 6 of coins, then we got some big questions to ask ourselves, and how that may be, because that might be why we're having troubles getting to this happy ending here, this 10 of coins. But let's see, let's get some tarot on this. Okay, please. Okay. All right, so here, speaking of, I love it. You got the 2 of Swords here, and we were just talking about your other 2 here, and then, what a sick combination, Mark. Oh, perfect. Okay, let me tell you what happens. Sorry, I'm overwhelmed. You got the 2 of Swords here, and then you got the Ace of Coins. 3 aces. Look at you, you ace. Let's switch back over. Because 2 of Swords. We were just talking about that. Just one of Libra's cards is the Moon in Libra. And you know what? But I like that, though. Because here's the thing. This decision that you're making, where whatever you decide to do, if we decide that this isn't working and we decide to break up with this thing, know that yes, that can feel tough. Breakups are never easy, but something new is opening up, because now a space has been, it opens up for you to work on yourself, focus on your abundance, get your mental health back in line. If we've been maybe kind of in like a toxic relationship, or one just, maybe, or even just like a real, just tough, or whatever that's looking like. But I also kind of feel like just really even like starting up dreams and things, hobbies and stuff, this really is a decision, Scorpio. If we've been in a place where, like how we were talking about with the 4 of Cups, if things haven't been feeling kind of meh, like life has been kind of the same old stuff. These aces, all they are is potential. It's the pages that get that idea started, that they take that and it's just like, ooh, what can I do with that? What can I manifest? But Scorpio, I really do, like, if you see, look at this 2 of Swords. She's got fire in front of her. There's some kind of crazy Hydra thing that's going back there, and if that wasn't enough, there's a whirlpool, if life has been feeling like just like a disaster, let's pause for a second and figure out how we can get this thing back in balance, whatever this looks like. Because there really is, I really feel like that maybe for some of us, it's that there's this focus on you, you know, really making sure that spend some time with yourself. And even if we're in a relationship, let's say everything's fine with the relationship, but maybe you're just having some internal struggles, just communicating with your partner, just like, hey, I think I'm going to go on like a sabbatical, or maybe go on like a spirit quest or whatever, Scorpio, you know, whatever that looks like. But know that, like, if you're just getting that out there, you can grow by yourself in a relationship. Sometimes you need that space to grow. You know, there are times where we grow together. Oh, look how we grow together, and then we grow, you know, there are times where we need to take some time for ourselves and deal with some internal things. You know, that's things that other people may not be able to help us with. The tough questions we have to ask ourselves. But know that when you do this stuff, Scorpio, when we're putting in this work and we're persevering, we're 9 of Wands, there's abundance, there's clarity, and then there's action. So I like that. I'm with it. I really feel like this is like really strengthening the bond with your higher self, because that even can be the star card, you know, talking about that connection. Because, you know, Aquarius is the water bear, and I like that. I like to think that the person, Aquarius is the pot, and the person is their higher self is the one that's pouring all that knowledge out of there. But this is about really connecting with your higher self. You know, I feel it's 2 of coins, you know, the star. Think about that, Scorpio, and listen to that instinct, because again, your intuition is powerful, and believe that. So, all right, Scorpio, I think I'm going to leave that there. Interesting reading. I hope that the energies have been really big, so I hope that makes sense. But give it a thumbs up if you like that, or even just a thumbs up as an indicator to let others know that, like, hey, you know, like, it's weighing these options can be a lot sometimes, you know, and figuring this balance, or figuring out how to balance this life out. But the thing is, it may take, did I tell you this, the moon in Libra, may take a few cycles to get that adjustment, but you can, you know, it's just when we start pouring that energy into that action. And then share this thing, Scorpio, if you know someone who might be going through this kind of like confusing time, because maybe we're just like, it's a lot, Scorpio, this energy that's kind of coming through, but it's one that I feel like that where, yes, it may feel like the world is against you, but the world is shaping you. Because I feel like if anyone can take adversity and use that to their advantage, it's you, because it evolves you into something more resilient. You know, it gives you a new experience to see how you can level up and transcend. Because and then tell all these people to subscribe, hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each week. And, you know, something, Scorpio, you know, maybe something, a little tool, maybe in your tool belt, you know, while you're fine tuning, you know, with your repairs and things. I've been on this meditation app, Insight Timer, for years, been working with it, and there's no kind of relationship or anything, but I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a little spot for positive affirmations, encouraging messages. Share this stories. You know, that's something I've been wanting to make that a thing too. You know, if you have any tough stories that you experienced that you had, where it's like, yeah, you know, the energies were here, but man, I was, you know, through some perseverance and through some tenacity and things, man, rose above, and I, you know, channeled that, got into that highest vibration of myself. You know, got one step closer to my 10 of Pentacles. So, and that's so inspirational and so motivating, and that's the kind of energy that we need right now, Scorpio. Especially, I feel like if you can show people, like, if I can get through this, y'all can get through anything, you know, like, just something to think about, Scorpio. And all that information for that group is in the description box. And then lastly, look at you, got a hottest ticket for come over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. Not that you need a ticket. But if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. Interesting. All right, Scorpio, you got the devil. And with the devil, this is Capricorn energy. I just got chills even just thinking about it. Capricorn, the devil, is about all this work we've been talking about. You know, there's this adversities. You know, it's whether it's the devil, when a devil situation comes around, and I just don't mean in like your typical kind of like drug, sex, alcohol. I mean more so just like in the sense of like adversity. That is not meant to keep you down. It's not meant to lower your self-esteem, to make you feel like you don't have X or anything along those lines. The devil wants you to rise. You see, the snake is on fire because it's burnt. Well, I'm not sure if that's actually why, but for me, this snake is burning its old skin. You know, like, yes, that fire might feel a little intense, but the release is going to be wonderful. You know, what you're going to evolve into after that is going to be spectacular. But it might be a little tough, because I'm always telling Capricorn, you know, theirs is a slow burn. You know, they got to put in, may have to feel like you might have to put in a little work, more work than others, but it's just because what you're going to achieve is going to be so grand. And then you got the blessed card in reverse here, Scorpio, and don't you think for a second that you aren't blessed. You are a sign. If your sign wasn't a thing, we would all be a hot mess. There's no change. Come on. And it is a blessing, Scorpio. Even these tough situations here, and if we can find a way to look at them like that, the people that come in our lives, the situations that, like, all of it, talking about Chariot, Cancerian energies, we're the type that our experiences shape how we navigate in this world. You know, like, we really are like experiential wisdom. And the best way, really, well, I don't know about the best way, but one way, Scorpio, this is what I do. I mean, even the crappy situations is just like, all right, yeah, that sucked, but what am I getting out of this? You know, where is this trying to lead me? You know, because I just had a rather expensive lesson, but I mean, and not to where I'm like in any kind of trouble, but it was just like a lesson. You know what I mean? But it was just like, managed to get everything resolved, and then learn something else about myself. So it was just like, okay, this is what was happening, you know, but just remember that, Scorpio, that there are good things that are coming out of this, but it's just remembering that it can be a little tough sometimes, you know, but it's just going to make you more resilient. It's going to make you more compassionate. And two, Scorpio, you know, what better way to turn this thing to your advantage? Maybe write a blog about it, write a book about it. You know, maybe make a YouTube channel about your journey, and inspire others to get on that chariot, to keep pushing through. I mean, look at that. You got, other than the Emperor, I mean, you got 3 of the four cardinals here: Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra. Take charge there, Scorpio. You can be a leader. You know, you can be someone who can, inspire. So bring change, Scorpio. I'm with it. So you stay safe out there. You raise your vibration through the roof, because you got it here. And don't forget that. You absolutely got it here. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.